Hey y'all, this is Amanda and welcome back to my Texas Zone 8A garden, and today we're going to be installing two new ornamental trees on the side garden. Okay, we are on the side of the house, and yesterday, in my yesterday's video, I harvested a bunch of cut flowers from here. So now you can see this open space. A lot of weeds going on, so I will be removing a bunch of weeds. There are a lot of daffodil bulbs tucked in here, so that's something that's going to be staying. But the first thing I'm going to do is remove all the weeds, and then I'm going to go through. I do have extra drip lines, extra 6-inch drip lines in here, and I'm going to show you how I cap them off. And once that is done, I'll show you the two trees we're going to get planted today. Okay, let's talk about what I have going on over here. So these are my initial 1/2-inch drip lines right here that I initially installed in the bed. And when I started growing cut flowers in this area, I also came in and I installed a 1/4-inch emitter that has emitters every 6 inches on it as well. Well, sorry you guys, I've got allergies. Now that I am switching this bed out to perennials, this 6-inch, every 6-inch emitter right here, this is too much, way too much water for this area. And I will just put water exactly to the base of each of the perennial plants. So if I left this like this, it would be pretty wasteful regarding water. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting my drip lines. So basically I'm just going to cut here, right? I'm going to be removing these, and then I'm going to be inserting what's called a goof plug into the end. And that will cap off this water supply right there, okay? And that way I'm not wasting extra water with all these 6-inch lines. So once again, I have all the existing 1/2-inch drip lines. These are existing, and I'm going to keep these. I added all of these 1/4-inch that have a emitter every 6 inches. I added these because I was growing cut flowers over here and I needed more water across the entire space. Now that I'm just switching to all perennials, trees, that type of thing. I'm going to be more direct with my emitters, and I'll run emitters directly to the base of each of the plants. So these are too much. We don't need these. So removing these, cutting them off, and installing what's called a goof plug right here. And I'll put a picture of these up on the screen. Installing a goof plug at the end to plug it up. And there we go. All right, let's go ahead and knock out the entire drip system. Okay, got all those removed. I did leave one of the 1/4 inch with every 6-inch emitters across this back part because we capped off all of our sprinklers here, and if you live in the North Texas area, you know that your foundation does have to be watered. So I went ahead and left that across the back because that's right by the foundation, and I've done that consistently throughout all my gardens wherever I have ended up capping off a sprinkler. So we've done that. Now over here I have 3 foxglove plants that are really trying to hang on. So this is actually a location where I'm going to put one of the trees. So I am going to go pull these out, and then once the trees are planted, I'll plant these back into the landscape. So let me do that real quick as well. Okay, so I do want to talk about the trees that I have selected to go in here. And I know you're probably surprised it's 2, but it actually is. So I did select another, this is called a Golden Falls Redbud, right? So right behind me is my Ruby Falls Weeping Redbud. So this is a Golden Falls Redbud. So let me show you, it has a similar habit in that it has these weeping branches. Golden Falls Redbud, it is a weeping redbud with dark pink flowers in the spring that are followed by orange gold leaves that turn bright gold. The gold color holds up well in the heat. Narrow habit, reaching 8 to 10 feet tall, but only 3 to 4 feet wide, which was key. That's exactly what I wanted. I want something that's tall and thin. So this is only about at 5 feet now, so this will double in size, but really like this natural kind of weeping effect. I love the idea that this will be like a golden yellow color because I think that's something that I lack in my garden on this side garden. So I think it'll look really nice. It also complements the Ruby Red Falls Redbud. Ruby Falls Weeping Redbud over here, in that it has a similar structure to it, right? Now the one at the back over here, the Ruby Falls, I have pruned it to look more like an umbrella shape. This one, I'm going to prune it to continue to be more like almost like a cousin it kind of feel. So I want it to be a really unique specimen in the garden, all right? So this is the first one. I picked it up from Covington's Nursery, a local nursery, and this did cost $175, just to kind of give you an idea on pricing regarding this. This looks beautiful in the winter time because it loses all of its leaves, and all you see are the sculptural like branches weeping over. It's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. It'll get flowers in the spring, and then of course we're going to get the beautiful yellow leaves. So it has a lot of green right now because it's had a little bit more shade than it usually does. All right, my next one right here, you might remember the video where I went shopping at Callaway's and I used my 30% off, was it 30% off, 20% off? Well, I used my Labor Day coupon and I bought my first topiary. And so this is a Carolina Sapphire Cypress tree. Now this does, oh, sorry y'all, humidity. This does get, if it's not in this topiary form, this gets like 30 feet tall, 30, 40 feet tall. But this has been topped, all right? So it's been cut, its main leader branch has been cut, and it's been worked into this topiary kind of setup. And that kind of setup, it's not gonna get any taller. It is gonna get wider, and I will have to care for each of the shapes on here. I'll have to prune them each season. The reason I selected this is I've always wanted a topiary. I wanted something a little bit quirky, and this kind of feel kind of has like a Willy Wonka feel with kind of these bulbous balls on here. I think it's really fun. I also selected it because of the blue-green color. It's not a color I have a lot of in my garden, and it's something that I want to create more interest with. Now, this one's going to be placed back in the landscape, and it's going to have perennials around its base. So I really do like the height. I think it's going to work really nice, and I think it's going to be a really great backdrop for a lot of perennials. This guy cost $150, and then I had that Labor Day coupon. I can't remember what percentage it was, but I'll put it on there. I'm very happy with the price considering the quality, because the quality is fabulous. So I'm really excited to get this in. So these are the two new trees. So let me go ahead and place them in the landscape, and I'll show you where they're going to go, and I'll talk to you about why I chose those places. Okay, let's talk about these two places. So I have two existing windows. Obviously, I can't change my windows. The symmetrical person in me wants to put this plant right in the center like I did the Ruby Falls over here. But it doesn't make sense. And I think that I would constantly be trying to move it with my eye. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to center it between these two windows. It's going to be worked towards the back of the back a little bit. I'm going to give it about 1.5 feet clearance between the wall here and the actual plant. And I might prune it over time so that there's less branches back by here. But if you guys imagine this, maybe a little bit wider because it's almost full grown in width. But now let's add 3 to 4 feet and it's reaching up towards the top of the roof line. I think it would be absolutely beautiful. I think it'll fill a space, a brick that's not very attractive, right? This is not an attractive space. And oh goodness, I had that ball. This is not an attractive space over here. And so I think filling this would be really, really nice. Now, a lot of y'all might ask, well, why don't you put it in front of the window? I'm a freak about natural light in my house. I don't want to take away any of the natural light. So I don't want to put anything in front of a window in my house. Do I think that that would actually work really well? Yeah, I think it would look really pretty, and I think it would go a long way to hide these windows that are not super attractive. However, it's not the right choice for me regarding sunlight because I want as much sunlight in my house as possible. So this guy is going to go here. Now, the Carolina Sapphire Cypress topiary is going to be worked right in this space right here. And it is over here to kind of camouflage the downspout right here of the gutters. I think it'll look really nice. It's going to be worked back towards the back, so it's also going to kind of camouflage this kind of negative space with the brickwork here. I think it goes a long way to kind of add dimension and depth right here. And I think it's really nice to have two taller specimens, and then I'll have lots of medium and lower growth across the front of everything. I'm getting sweat in my eyes, y'all. It is so humid out here. But I think this is going to look really beautiful here. I think it's going to work well. It should do fine with the with all of the sun over here. And both of these will have their own personal drip systems like down into them. I'll have actual drippers directly to their root balls. So they will get plenty of water. But let's go ahead and get these holes dug out. I'm going to dig out the holes. I'm going to place the plant inside. I'm going to backfill it with fertilizer and with water and let it sit and let the water soak in. And then I'm going to backfill with compost. And at that point, we should be good on these. So let's get that knocked out. I think I'm going to lay this guy down while I work on the other one so that it doesn't break. doing is putting compost around the base of the plant. And I removed a lot of my native soil, which is the clay soil. And what I'm doing with this is I'm really using my fingers to push the soil down. I was sitting in a webinar yesterday with Dallas Garden School, Callie from Dallas Garden School. And if you haven't checked her out, you should check her out on Instagram. And she's talking about kinds of compost and how basically the compost that I've been picking up from big box stores is not the best compost. Which, I mean, that's not surprising, you know. So I'm going to be looking. She gave a few new places of some different compost to use. So I'm going to be looking at that, and I'll be showing you guys what I'm thinking about switching to. Okay, once I've got this in, I'm going to come in, I'm going to hold the top of the plant or the tree. I'm going to use my foot. I'm going to push almost at a 45-degree angle. And I can actually already see an area where the soil is low. And basically I'm just securing the soil into here to firmly hold the plant in place. Looks good. Okay, let's get this one knocked out. I had a rock wedged in over here to hold it in place until I got some soil there. I'm going to do the same thing where I hold the tree. I'm going to use my foot, tamp it down. The soil over here was really wet. I noticed that I had a drip line leak. Got that all fixed. All right. I know this sounds weird, but I'm totally going to put the rock here just to weight it a little bit to keep it from shifting. I might have to come and stake this guy. Okay, the last thing I need to do is add an additional drip onto here. And I've got, I believe these are 2 gallon an hour. So I've got my existing drip back here. I'm just going to put in a punch. Put in a hole back here. And I'm going to pop in my emitter. There we go. No big deal. And then I am going to use a stake. I'm sorry I'm so sniffy, y'all. Use a stake to hold it right here at the base. And that'll add some extra water to the sky. And I'll keep an eye on it. If I feel like I need to add more, I can add another emitter. Okay. I'm a little bit dirty, but I'm feeling seriously accomplished. I think they look great. I think I'm going to have to stake the topiary. It's a little top heavy. So I might get out and do that tomorrow. I am wiped for today. This video I'm sure will be around 20 minutes, but it is taking me almost 2 hours to get all this done. So it was a lot, and I am beating the sun. The sun is just now creeping up. This area is in shade until about noon, and so the sun is creeping up, so I was able to work in the shade most of the time, which I think was incredibly helpful. The humidity is a lot. This is not necessarily the optimal time to be planting these, as we are going to be having a heat wave coming up that's going to come back into triple digits. Yay. At the end of September. Yay. So It is what it is. These plants needed to get into the ground, and I will be watching them. Adding the extra drip to them is super helpful, and then I will be coming and checking on them multiple times a day just to see how they're doing, if they're showing any stress, giving them extra water, and if need be, I can toss some shade cloth over them just to give them a little bit of, extra safety, kind of a safety net. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching this very first part of the transformation of this side area. I'm very excited. I want lots of depth and lots of texture. That's the goal. I want it to be overflowing with plants. Absolutely beautiful. Y'all know that one of my favorite things to do is cover it so that the sunlight cannot get to the ground and therefore I don't have weeds growing. That's the goal. But this will be really fun as I add in shrubs, perennials, and then next spring I'll be adding in quite a few annuals to this area. It's going to be fun. I'm not sure how many parts this is going to be. I'm guessing 3 or 4 different parts over the next month as I begin to work different things in. But these 2 guys were my main focal points, and so they are a great start. All right, you guys, as always, she's a mad gardener or a decorator or anything else that she wants to be. Thanks, y'all.